Hello everyone. When it comes to Dr. Jordan Peterson, what I personally find most interesting is not so much what Jordan Peterson says, but rather why there exists such an incredible pushback against it. Up until about yesterday, people would just have categorized most of what Jordan Peterson says as being common sense. Advice such as clean your room, put your life in order, adapt good habits, respect your elders, take personal responsibility for your actions. These all used to be universally agreed upon notions, rather than points of contention. To relentlessly attack and try to discredit a person, one must find them to be quite the threat. So what is it that some people find so threatening about Dr. Jordan Peterson? Having spent a significant portion of his life researching the Soviet Union, Dr. Peterson knows how compelled speech leads to compelled thought, and why free speech is a must, even if it results in someone having their feelings hurt. His public objection to being legally mandated in what he could say is what initially brought him to notoriety. However, his resistance to adhere to a destructive ideology is only part of the reason why people resent him. It is also due to the core lessons that he teaches. Dr. Peterson teaches individuals how to develop themselves so that they can affect change in both their own lives and the greater world. His message is especially resonating among young men. His teachings are a risk to established powers who would rather keep people fighting amongst themselves than to have these people affecting any change that could potentially threaten their wealth or power. Simultaneously, his teachings are also a threat to revolutionaries who promote victimhood narratives and desire individuals to surrender their personal sovereignty for an unclear future collective benefit. Dr. Peterson is stuck in the middle of these two opposing forces, offering the layman what neither side wants them to have: tools for making sense of the world, as well as a framework for their lives. They find Dr. Peterson's methods especially dangerous given the fact that they actually work. When given the choice between being successful and fulfilled versus constantly angry and unsatisfied, Dr. Peterson offers the winning value proposition. Most traditional media nowadays is unprofitable as standalone enterprises and instead serve as propaganda arms of their parent corporations. In comparison to supporting real change, it costs corporations very little to change the pictures or logos on their food packaging or hang a digital banner on their websites. These symbolic gestures do nothing to actually improve anyone's life. The disenfranchised are still left unable to pay their rent, afford decent health care, or educate their children. The people at the top do not care whose picture is on the $20 bill. They only care about in whose pockets that these bills will reside. One would imagine that the promotion of superficial secondary traits over things such as experience, skills, knowledge, and merit would not be beneficial to a company in the long term, and they should be afraid of losing their competitive advantage over time. However, if a labor pool is growing, while the number of available positions is shrinking, it would not be of immediate concern to them. They can push out a lot of their higher paid employees and replace them with cheaper employees who are simply happy that they still have a job. In addition, they can hire cheap foreign technical labor that can't negotiate their salaries given that their visas are tied to their employer. Furthermore, many companies now act as effective monopolies and can generate profits via rent-seeking behavior rather than from real growth. You'll soon likely see large purges coming to both academia and the corporate world. Many companies are closing down or downsizing as automation further reduces their need for labor. The threat to losing one's job will cause people to panic and start accusing each other of the new career-fatal crimes of bigotry and hate speech. Nowhere will this be more prevalent than in American universities. Thousands of American universities will likely close their doors in the coming years due to financial strain as well as new, cheaper online alternatives. Those who do remain open will need to reduce their staff. After all, a single lecturer can now effectively reach an infinite number of students online. If an anthropology department has limited funding for doctoral candidates, peers will turn against each other in a McCarthyist sort of way in order to eliminate competition for the funds. I originally imagined that a crisis would serve as a hard slap back to reality for Western societies, given that the ability to face the crisis would require us to operate in relation to hard facts. But now I'm not so sure that this will happen. People may instead just double down on their false beliefs. Thus, a calamity will only serve as a catalyst that hastens the adoption of bad ideas. I now realize that one of the primary factors that contributes to stability in a society is a fear of instability, the dire consequences of which still exist in the living memory of its citizens. As a result of his research, Dr. Peterson vividly remembers such consequences. The current lack of appreciation for the importance of functional societal institutions seems to perfectly align with the fact that there are so few people still alive today who took part in the Second World War or spent time in a concentration camp. When a decline in economic growth, living standards, and well-being is coupled with a general sense of hopelessness about the future, people will tear down a society until it's so bad that they can only again look forward to things improving. Anyone who's actually lived through true anarchy would choose a benevolent dictator over it, a fact that many wannabe dictators rely on, and why they helped push previously organized democratic societies into chaos. Jordan Peterson sees the writing on the wall. However, his message is too inconvenient for those who foolishly believe that they're playing a game that can be won. Dr. Peterson knows if they're to play this game to its conclusion, it will only result in everyone's loss. Thanks for watching this video. Please comment below and let me know your thoughts. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, ciao.